In this video, we uncover the tragic story of a young woman who became the target of a relentless obsession. This is the story of Ellie Weick. Before we get started, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more true crime content, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. I'm always curious to see where you're watching from, so feel free to share your location in the comments. Let's get into the case. Ellen Weick lives in West Ohio. She is 23 years old and is known as Ellie by everyone. Ellie moved to Westchester with her family from Minneapolis, Minnesota. She now lives alone with her pet gecko, Gail. The people she left behind said she was a free-spirited artist who loved music, art, nature, and color. She often got together with friends to scrapbook, dance, make jewelry, or write. She loved being outside. Her mom said that ever since she was a little girl, you could always find her planting things and making hammocks outside in her nicest clothes. She was getting ready for a lot of fun things and had just gotten her hairdressing license. But as summer 2018 crept in, her always cheerful attitude was being tested to the limit. She was getting weird messages and direct messages, DMs, from someone she didn't know using fake phone numbers, odd usernames, Snapchat accounts, and Instagram and Facebook profiles. It had happened before, but not often, for almost a year. Now it happened all the time. The way they talked made her sure it was the same person, even though they were on different channels and devices. The scary things got even worse when Ellie got a part of a video on Facebook that had been shot right outside her house. In order to film her, the person touched and exposed themselves while sitting at her kitchen table and watching her. Several more videos like this one came after. Just when you thought the messages were scary enough, things took a very bad turn. How did this person get to her house? Hannah, her best friend, said it was like a serious and sick game of cat and mouse. And that was enough for Ellie. She called the police. There was one username or number that was Mickey or Mika that she told them. Did she care about that name? They asked. Ellie said that Michael was the name of an ex-boyfriend from years ago, but she had no idea who was behind this. The police made a report, and Ellie asked them what she should do next. It was told to her to learn how to defend herself and stay inside at night. Eileen felt beaten and wasn't sure that this would make things better, but she still agreed and signed up for classes with her mom, Tam. But the bullying kept going on. The police couldn't figure out where the messages were coming from because the phone numbers were fake and came from websites with odd area codes. It would take a while to go through all of this digital information. Not long after Ellie called, Tam, her mom, called again to ask them to write down more details. The cops went to Ellie's house and walked around the neighborhood twice that week, but they didn't see anything bad. The police records, on the other hand, show that both searches took under 5 minutes. At some point, Ellie didn't want to be at home by herself, so her friends would switch off who slept over. It was clear, though, that this person didn't mind going up to her house, and she couldn't really feel safe until they were caught. "What do you do in this situation?" her friend asked her one time. "I wish I knew how to help." She said, "I don't know." And she looked sad. "I'm by myself and don't know how to defend myself well. It's making me feel very anxious." One day, Ellie was talking to a friend about everything that was going on when both of them had an epiphany through a new Snapchat account. The account was set up for Mikey, whose real name is Michael Strauss and was Ellie's ex-boyfriend. Ellie thought it couldn't be him at first, but when she saw the username, she knew it was. "Damn it, I know who it is." She texted her friend right away. "My ex-boyfriend from when I was 17 years old. He and Ellie broke up a long time ago. They both liked music, the arts, and events, and at first they had a lot in common. But things quickly went bad, and she stopped talking to him." She told the cops what she had found. On July 28th, she texted Nate, an online friend. They had both talked about getting together in person a lot and had even set a date for that day. He said, "I'm not bringing my phone. Is it cool if I just knock?" But it looked like Ellie changed her mind and now just wanted to stay home. Nate did ask, "What's this I'm hearing about some creep following you?" She responded, "LOL, no one is creepy to me, so I don't know." She told him she was by herself when he asked what she was doing. Like always, she didn't have any friends over, so she was going to bed by herself. Even though Ellie thought she was talking to Nate, it turned out to be just another fake number and name, and Michael Strauss now knew she was home alone. She locked everything up and taped her curtains, as she always does. On August 1st, 2018, Ellie's mom Tam turned her into the police because no one could reach her over the next few days. No one had any question that this had anything to do with the stalking. Her car was still parked outside her house, and neither her phone nor her bank cards had been used. One question for the police was whether Ellie's phone had been looked at to try to find her stalker before she went, but the Westchester police wouldn't say. It was decided that her case was not one of stalking, but one of telecommunications abuse. One of the numbers that was tied to Nate had an area code of 213. The number had been bought on the internet, but it didn't have any history and wasn't connected to any other phone. On top of that, it hadn't been used since Ellie disappeared. Detectives got some information from the website where the number had been bought over the next 2 weeks while they were looking for Ellie. They were able to get the account's username, sign-up date, last login date, and email address. It had everything to do with her ex-boyfriend, Michael Strauss. Over the past 10 years, Michael had been arrested for public behavior, drug possession, identity theft, and burglary. Since the person was charged with public indecency in June 2015, they had to get a mental health exam and treatment for 1 year after the charge. In the 53 minutes since the last message to Ellie, he had also made new phone numbers to call other people and even signed up for a new account on the same website. It was sad that she was found on August 24th, less than a month after she was reported missing.
Tonight, we now know the body discovered in Liberty Township is that of 23-year-old Ellen Wyke, who'd been missing since August 1st. Butler County Prosecutor Michael Mosier telling Local 12 late today that he's 100% certain the body found at a field on Milliken Road are the remains of Wyke. The body was found Friday afternoon while Westchester police were looking for evidence in her disappearance.
Her body was found in a field off of Oral Road. She was naked, wrapped in a blanket, taped up, and had a plastic bag over her head. This is what killed her. She couldn't breathe. Michael lived just across the field from where she was found. At 4 a.m. the next day, Westchester cops arrested him.
We are continuing to follow breaking news right now. Police have just arrested a man in connection with the murder of a Westchester woman.
Chief Joel Herzog basically is saying they want to protect the crime scene. They want to protect the prosecution possibilities. They want to protect everything right now until they're absolutely certain what they have. But here's what we know right now. They've made an arrest. Michael Strauss, 29 years old, of Westchester. Chief Joel Herzog says it was a tip from someone that led them to Milliken Road between Maud Hughes and Yankee Road. They've swarmed the area with drones, with helicopters, officers on foot, and they found a body buried in that particular area.
He was jailed on a $4 million bond while police broke into his house and looked through all of his electronics. The cops got information from Google that an IP address connected to Michael's home had searched for "How long does a dead body smell?" "Missing girl in Hamilton," and "Missing girl in Westchester, Ohio." Many people used Google to look for Ellie Wyke and the Cincinnati Strangler 3 times. On July 18th, just a few days before she went missing, people looked for "How to Survive Prison" and "A Survivor's Guide to Prison" more often. "How to Delete Photos from an iCloud Account" came in second. People looked for "Teen Forced Porn" and "Forced Rape while jogging." The police said that other searches he did were so upsetting that they would not be made public. He had been following joggers around parks and in cars for months and made a lot of films of them.
People that get sexual gratification from videotaping women. Do you ever do that from outside, or is it always when you're like inside somewhere?
It could be anywhere. It could be at the park. It could be walking, jogging past somebody or something like that. Yeah, it's whenever I come across like somebody attractive.
Have you ever filmed a woman jogging from inside of your car?
Probably. I would assume so. Yeah.
Put your hands up here for me. I have another video of you drive someone wearing this bracelet inside of a white car.
Investigators also found a picture of a field where Ellie's body was found on Michael's phone. The picture was taken from the Maps app. Michael didn't care and gave a vague reason about studying for a script he was writing because he worked in the movie business.
The bottom of it, it's going to be Ellie Wyke.
That's Ellie White. That's Ellie White's head under a bag. Why you have her driver's license. Why you have the necklace that came off her neck. Why you have a clump of her hair in a tin that you even call it a tribute.
The worst piece of proof they've found so far was found at his house. The cops found Ellie's driver's license, a lock of her hair, and her pink necklace in her art portfolio. The people questioning Michael were getting tired of his cockiness and arrogance, and they wanted to know the truth. He told the cops it was all an accident when they told him everything. He said Ellie agreed to help him make a film of torture, which was something he did for a living and got paid a lot of money for.
I don't think anybody any reasonable person is going to believe that Ellie comes outside with a blanket on, getting ready to go to your house with zip ties on her hands, unless she's being forced or threatened.
And we were filming the thing, and we were filming this for scenes, and like I said, it wasn't like tight zip ties.
Ellie had died by suffocation while they were making it, he said. A plastic bag was over her head. He said the cameras were already going when he accidentally caught her death on film. He watched it back, deleted it, and threw away the memory card. If that video really did exist, it has never been found. When they searched his basement, they found a bed with handcuffs still on it. Detectives didn't believe for a second that Ellie had agreed to anything like this, but it painted a very scary picture of how she died. It was clear that Michael had pushed her out of her house and taken her to his.
Understand that Michael Anthony Strauss, 29 years old, has been charged with her murder. Now, he is known to police, and we did find extensive arrests for him in Butler County. Just in the last few minutes, we found a number of arrests and several other charges for him in previous cases. Right now, though, he is facing a new charge, a murder charge.
We'd like to thank the community for their support. We received a number of tips and other information from the community and the associates of Ellie, which is what led us to help solve this crime. Without their support, it would not have been able to be done. Westchester police officers and detectives are some of the most dedicated professionals I've ever known. But due to the size and complexity of this case, we enlisted the assistance of BCI, the FBI, Butler County Sheriff's Department, Ohio Department of Natural Resources, and many others in order to investigate this crime thoroughly and without delay. The FBI, we received assistance from the FBI Squad 5 Major Crimes Unit, their behavioral science unit out of Quantico, and a highly specialized unit that concentrates on digital communication evidence. We have pictures posted up here of Ellie, and as you can tell how free-spirited she was and what a beautiful human being she was. Over here to my left, you'll see the rainbow. That is directly above where Ellie was found, and that rainbow appeared shortly after we located her body. That in itself touched many of the officers on the scene, and that is what you will see. You see the picture because the way it did touch the officers, and they felt it was a true sign from her of a thank you for bringing her home. And that was the goal here. Unfortunately, it was not brought home alive.
9 charges were brought against 29-year-old Michael Strauss by a grand jury. These include aggravated murder, 3 counts of tampering with evidence, menacing by stalking, petty theft, abuse of a body, and gross abuse of a corpse. There was a service for Ellie on September 1st. Everyone was asked to wear tie-dye and bring something to put in a scrapbook. Someone could bring a drum and play music with it. The whole day would be about all the things Ellie loved. Any money raised would be used to plant a tree in her honor. And the next day, there was a party to honor her life.
Some color back into all the darkness. I mean, you met her and you couldn't help but to love her. She was just filled with so much joy and laughter and happiness, and she was just an amazing person overall.
And on Sunday, an opportunity to remember.
Only girl I've ever met that can pull off some neon yellow lipstick.
More than 100 gathered with one word on their mind.
Just a release.
Yeah.
I think the balloons are really symbolic to releasing a lot of the tension and built up frustration in the past, and we're just releasing it and letting it go.
We wanted to say thank you. We're a very private family, and but just really heartfelt thank you, and it doesn't go unnoticed.
9.
It's been an up and down roller coaster for a lot of us.
6, 5.
Very bittersweet moment. It was very beautiful.
2.
It's still heartbreaking.
1.
It took a long time to investigate, and more than 800 pages of proof were given to the court. When Michael went to court, his defense team explained how they thought Ellie died. Even though he admitted it, they wanted the court to let them see her medical papers and notes from her therapist.
that the medications may show a contribution to death. We also know she's had different signs of depression, anxiety in different manners, all of which go to a theory of how she potentially may have met her demise in this case, Your Honor.
They didn't say much more, but it seemed like their sadness might have led her to abuse her medicine, which may have killed her. The prosecutor said it was not only a confusing theory, but it was also insulting because of how she was found in the field and the results of the autopsy.
They have a toxicology report which indicates what was in Ms. White's body at the time she was found. Whether or not that she was depressed or had anxiety really isn't relevant to the determination of who killed her.
But Michael Strauss would finally admit that he killed Ellie, so there would be no trial. 6 of the original charges against him were dropped, so a guilty plea would mean a much lighter term in this case. At the time of his sentence, Michael said,
"I know in my heart that I never wanted to hurt anybody. If there was any way to bring Ellie back, I would trade places with her in a second."
Something has been my life goal and ambition, to use the values to bring things into the world, not take things out, to create, to not destroy. In that regard, I have failed. I not only failed myself, I failed society, I failed my family, I failed Ellie's family. Most of all, I failed Ellie. I'll never let her forgive myself. I don't expect forgiveness. In return, I'm not the victim here. It's a burden I shall rightfully carry for the rest of my life.
David, Ellie's dad, said, "My God tells me to forgive, but he doesn't say when, and I don't know if I'll ever get there." Michael's mother spoke to Ellie's family and told them she was sorry for everything that had happened and felt sick.
I also ask Your Honor that his punishment for stalking Ellie, murdering her, and disgracing Ellie's precious body be the maximum allowed.
The judge gave the harshest sentence he could, but it was still very painful for Ellie's family and friends. Michael got 17.5 years in prison, 15 years to life for murder, 18 months for being a threat by stalking, and 1 year for abusing a dead body. The terms will be served one after the other, so credit for time served will be given. He will only be able to get released twice, first in 2036 and then again in 2041. It was too bad that Michael's case didn't call for life in jail without the chance of parole, but the judge couldn't do anything about it. Many people still don't understand what drove him to do this. The prosecutors said they could only guess, but they believed the reason for the crime was evil. The weird movie Mr. Strauss wrote, directed, and produced was all himself. That's right. This case reads like a crime novel, a scary crime book. It's scary and sad that she did everything that was asked of her, but it still happened. "What's the point of that?" asked Hannah, her best friend. An internal review into how Ellie's many calls to the police were handled led to the police chief of Westchester suspending an officer without pay for 40 hours because he had broken the rules. The police officer, James Thomas, did not properly record information or perform an investigation when Ellie turned in her report on April 11, 2018. Officer Thomas needed to feel more rushed and pay more attention to the details of this case in order to keep the victim safe. But that did not happen. Part of the report said that it didn't show that Ellie had an ex-boyfriend named Michael, or write down his last name or address. The link to the name Mikey, or M, was not looked into. The story did not include the emails and videos that Ellie gave it. The cop didn't write down that he got an email from Ellie on May 1, 2018, along with some additional texts. He also didn't scan the messages and write them down or record them.
Michael Strauss has murdered once, and according to newly released court documents, he told an inmate 23-year-old Ellie White wasn't his first.
According to papers, Michael Strauss is also a suspect in a number of other crimes. One of Michael's former prisoners said he told them he killed a woman named Shelley and threw her body into a creek. He talked about it the same way he talked about Ellie's murder, but the Westchester cops couldn't check this out and don't know who this person is. In January 2018, a guy in a black hoodie and face mask attacked a woman who was trail running. As she ran her usual route, a guy grabbed her by the face and neck, pulled her into some grass, and told her to be quiet. He was pushed away, and she got away. Watching and following female runners was something Michael was very interested in, as you can see from his many videos. This is probably why the cops think he was involved. Because Michael has already shown he is crazy and dangerous, it makes you wonder how many people he has really hurt. About 13.5 million people are stalked in the United States alone every year, and almost 1 in 3 women and 1 in 6 men have been stalked at some point in their lives. In 94% of murder cases, stalking behavior was found in different forms and ways. One police officer said that stalking is a lot like watching a murder happen very slowly. She has a mom named Tam who said, "Every time her mind isn't focused on something else, the thought of her daughter comes in." As Ellie took her last breath, I can still feel the fear and horror she must have felt as she looked at her killer through the plastic while tape was around her neck and arms. She said it was clear that Ellie White had a big impact on many people's lives. "We just wanted to bring some color back into the darkness," her cousin said. "To be honest, I don't think there will ever be peace. From day to day, it gets easier to deal with, but there will never be peace. Ellie has always been a part of this family and always will be. We'll see her again. That's something we know. We won't see her for a long time." There was a rainbow over the field where her body was found, and the sun was shining right where she was. This is something her family always sees as a sign that she was with them that day, letting them know everything would be okay and thanking them for finding her. It tells them to always see the good and the color, even when things are very dark and gray. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, please like the video, subscribe for more true crime stories, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Until next time, stay safe and look out for one another.